gonna do her. Sorry, it's close quarters, but
At least it's cool.
yeah. Yeah.
Sure, that would be great. Thank you. Does anybody need one last mic check?
Sure.
All right. I'll just do my introduction and that'll be our mic check. My name is Raina. I'm the Public Safety Information Officer at the Apache Junction Police Department. That's Raina Steffen, Rayna Steffen. And today we're here to provide an update on the officer-involved shooting that we had yesterday. And I'd like to introduce Chief Michael Pooley, our chief here, to talk about that.
Hey everybody, my name is Michael Pooley, Pooley. I am the Chief of Police here in the city of Apache Junction. I've been the chief for about 3.5 years, and it has been an absolute honor to be here in this amazing city. I'm surrounded here with some of our city council, our mayor, our county attorney, Brad Miller, so we appreciate the support. So I wanted to get this together because we wanted to release the information of our officer. I'll do that right now. His name is Officer Gabriel Facio. He's been a Apache Junction police officer for about almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years in September. Prior to that, he worked for the city of Phoenix. He went through the Phoenix Police Academy and served a short time over there before he came and joined our department here. And I'll get more about Officer Facio here in just a second. Just to recap what happened yesterday, about 9:20 in the morning, we got a call reference a road rage situation where there was an individual that was brandishing a firearm, driving a white Tesla. They were going down Ironwood towards Elliott. When that call came out, we had an officer that was doing traffic enforcement in that area, located the vehicle, and initiated a traffic stop. When they got the vehicle stopped, when that officer got the vehicle stopped, the individual who's identified as Roger Nunez, he's a 37-year-old male, he was compliant. Mr. Nunez was compliant, showed no signs of aggression whatsoever. Our officer asked him to step out of the vehicle. At that point, Mr. Nunez grabbed a firearm out of his Tesla. He used some code to get into the glove box and got it open, pulled a handgun out, and got out of the vehicle with the handgun and started to walk away from the officer. The officer asked him to stop, tried to get him to comply. He refused. He did say at some point that he wanted the officer to shoot him, and at that point it was kind of like a suicide by cop. We followed that individual for about a mile on foot, trying to get him to stop. We used officers that came in. They used less lethal or pepper ball gun to try to stop him, to get him to comply. It had no effect on him whatsoever. It got to a point where he stopped, and in the neighborhood off of Radiance, the new subdivision down there, the D.R. Horton Homes, and at that point he, out of a quick move, pulled that firearm up, and it was 1 in a million shots, fired 4 rounds, striking Officer Gabriel Facio in the face. He went down immediately, and other officers returned fire, striking Mr. Nunez. Mr. Nunez went down. Shoot, sorry. Thanks. So when Officer Facio went down, the other officers on scene immediately recognized that he was in extremely critical condition. They immediately loaded him into the vehicle, the patrol vehicle, and one of our officers drove him to Banner Hospital here in Apache Junction, about 1.5 miles away. When they got there, he was not in good shape. He was in extremely critical condition, and the medical staff there were able to preserve his life to where he is today. He is still in very critical condition, and one thing that we'll tell you is that we need prayers for our officer. He is definitely a fighter, but he is not anywhere close from being in a stable condition. So as things continue to go on, we'll keep you updated. I'll tell you, Officer Facio is kind of the heartbeat of our department. everybody loves Officer Facio. He's always got a great attitude. He's always here to support anytime we need him. He's married, has 2 children. He's just a wonderful human being and one of my personal favorites. I'm not supposed to have favorites, but I'll tell you, he is one of my favorites. He really is just the heartbeat of this department. And it is very, very difficult for our officers right now. With being here, many of you know I've been the PIO for years at another agency in Tempe. And, I've reported on these types of things in the past. But as the chief, it's a different responsibility. And for me to see one of my officers and visiting with him and his family at the hospital, it is heartbreaking to see one of your strong, tough officers in a very dire situation. So again, we ask for prayers and comfort for the family, support from the community. If there's anything that we need, we know that we have a community that supports us, and we really do appreciate that. So that being said, I'll answer any questions.
Chief Pooley, Kenzie Beach with Fox 10. Can you speak to, men and women like your department across the whole valley put their lives on the line every day. Can you speak to these types of attacks that we're seeing an increase of and what it does to an entire department?
Yes, so the question was to speak to these types of violent acts towards law enforcement. We are seeing an increase in these types of acts, aggression towards law enforcement. It's unacceptable. It's something that our officers, we talk about on a daily basis and we prepare ourselves for. We know that the 99% of the community supports us and they're compliant and that they do everything they can to be there for us when we need them. But there is a contingent that they don't care what uniform you have. They don't care your role, your responsibility, and they take any type of aggression that we've seen, just like we saw yesterday. Like I said, Officer Facio is a good man. He's a family man. He's a husband and a father. He wants nothing but the best for the city of Apache Junction and the entire state of Arizona. And when you go up, we don't know what's going to happen each day with our officers. We don't. We know that they're going out into an area where there is dangerous individuals like we encountered yesterday.
Chief, AZ Family News here. I'm Stephanie Dupre. Can you talk about the suspect and can you talk about if this person had any warrants out? What's his criminal background? Can you talk about just all of his background if you have it, and then, with this considered also a mental health call if he went in to grab his gun out of his car? Yes,
so thank you. The question was to give some more information about the suspect. Roger Nunez, he's 37 years old.
Chief, I believe it's Robert Nunez.
Robert Nunez, we'll confirm that. Robert Nunez, he is, there's very limited criminal history. It was something where there was not a lot that this guy was on our radar for anything. And again, it's one of those things that's part of the investigation to see if this is something that there were signs that there were people that could have understood and jumped in before it got to this moment. Right now, there's no indication of anything. So we're trying to figure that part out, and we're trying to really put those things together.
Was the gun registered in his name? Was he a concealed carry?
No. So that brings up a good point. Hey, Chris, can you hold that door open so it stops making that noise?
It makes that noise because of people who are motion.
Even if it's open?
Even if it's open.
Okay, sorry guys. So just so you know, the gun that was located was a ghost gun. A ghost gun is a gun that is unmarked. It has no serial numbers. That's part of the investigation that Mesa Police Department is going to be doing, is where did that gun come from. He was not a prohibited possessor. He was not anything to indicate that he was a violent felon or anything. But we do know that he was not in his right state of mind yesterday, especially when he made the decision to fire at our officers.
Is he an Apache Junction resident?
He is. He did live in the new community down south. Yes.
So what are next steps for the officers that were there on scene? Obviously those who fired, how many shots were fired by officers? Will they be on administrative leave? And then for those that witnessed this, are there resources for them?
Thank you. So the question was what the other officers that were involved. We did have 4 other officers that fired their firearm. Those officers are all going to be on paid administrative leave. That's normal process. I was with them. They were all at the hospital today. And I'll tell you, being together and staying together was the most important thing for them right now. A lot of their their spouses and significant others were there as well. We had a lot of other officers that were on scene that assisted, that did not fire their firearms, and we're making sure that we get them the resources that they need. These types of situations are the things that they'll carry with them their entire career and the rest of their lives. And there's no doubt in my mind that they're replaying this every single second of what they could have or should have done better, or what they think they should have or could have done better. But we're not here to talk about that right now. We are just here to show our support for them and to let them know that we're here to stand with them.
Chief, I imagine losing what is effectively 5 officers within a 24-hour time frame for however long this is. How does that impact a relatively small department or a community like Apache Junction?
Yeah, thanks. So the question was, how does that affect with losing those officers out on leave for the community? Well, one of the good things is we are a tight-knit community. We have about just under 100 sworn officers. We're a total staff of about 150 here in the city of Apache Junction Police Department. We know everybody. We have this building, so everybody knows everybody. We know everybody's business. We just very tight-knit. One of the things that we also are in law enforcement, our entire East Valley and the Valley of Police Department and law enforcement agencies are very supportive. Other agencies have reached out to us asking if we need coverage. They're willing to cover. You know, being certified in the state of Arizona allows you to work in another city, and we may have to take them up on that. We are monitoring our operations. We're monitoring calls for service and making sure that the residents of a city of Apache Junction continue to have the excellent service that they get every single day.
I know that Mace is handling the investigation, exactly what happened, but you mentioned being with those other officers. It sounds like they did everything right, and I imagine you're fairly proud of how quickly they were able to respond to it.
Yes, you know, thank you. The question was, or talking about how I feel towards our officers that were there. I am very proud of our officers. Anytime our officers go out on the street, you know, I'm a hugger. I give all my guys a hug as much as often as possible, because you never know what's going to happen. I gave Officer Facio a hug last week, and not knowing that was going to be the last time I gave him a hug before this happened. Our officers train very hard for these types of situations. Luckily, we don't have a lot of violent crime in the city of Apache Junction, so this does shake us. It shakes our officers. It shakes the entire department and the entire community, which is why we have so many of our city council here, our county attorney, that show the support, because these things don't usually happen in our city. And I am proud of them. I'm very proud of them. And, you know, we're going to learn from this too. Was it perfect? Who's to say? You know, but we are going to learn from it. We have to. Anytime that something like this happens, we think, how could we have done something differently? But I'll tell you, had those officers not reacted the way they did, Officer Facio would have lost his life yesterday on that street. There's no doubt in my mind. And I met individually with each of those officers, and I let them know. And with tears in my eyes and tears in theirs, they appreciated knowing that they were able to save him for that at that point. But in closing, I just want to reiterate, Officer Facio is fighting for his life. There's no doubt about it. He is a fighter, but he is fighting for his life, which is why I'm coming before the community right now to just ask for any support for the family, for Officer Facio, and for the men and women of the Apache Junction Police Department and the entire community of Apache Junction. As the chief, this is your worst nightmare. I was on a plane yesterday to Orlando in the morning. I left at 8 in the morning and got a text mid-flight and talk about helplessness and how you feel just completely helpless. And you know, the airlines were great, and they got me on a flight right back, right when I landed in Orlando and got back out here. But you know, to be here with the men and women of our department is what we are here for. I appreciate you guys coming out and covering this story. This is an important topic. Every officer that works in uniform, whether you're a sheriff's deputy or a trooper or a police officer for a municipality, we do this exact same job, and we are faced with the exact same dangers. And oftentimes, sometimes, we have situations like this. And again, we ask that you keep Officer Facio and his family in your prayers, and we hope that we can report something back even better in the next couple of days. Thank you.
Chief, real quick, any
Yes.
charges being recommended to the county attorney's office for Mr. Nunez?
Yes, they are. Like I said, the Mesa Police Department is taking primary on that, but they are going to be charging right now with aggravated assault, multiple counts of aggravated assault, even from the road rage incident as well.
Can you speak to the type of gun that may have been used by the suspect?
So the question was the type of gun that was used by the suspect. Again, it was a ghost gun, which is a gun that's can be manufactured in different pieces and even sometimes 3D printers. But it's a gun that's not marked. It was a handgun that was used, and that's as much as I can give right now.
And was that Robert Nunez white Tesla? That was his car?
Yes, it was. Yes, the white Tesla did belong to the suspect. So.
You mentioned the community support, just what's the best way for them to offer their support right now? Lots of people that are gonna wanna help.
Yeah, so, the question was how can people support? You know, I'll tell you, I believe in prayer, and I pray. I think any kind of prayers for comfort, for the family, for Officer Facio would be something that anybody and everybody can do at any point and anywhere, in any location. As far as going on, if we have a fundraiser for him, we'll let you know. We're kind of waiting to see what's going to happen and see where we go from here. So I appreciate that.
We have that form that we just put out
Oh,
on
yeah.
social media as well.
On social media, we have a form that we're going to give to the family for people that may have known Officer Facio or that just want to share a message of support, that they can do that, and it's on our social media as well. So, yes, ma'am.
I'm Patricia Skipper. I was just wondering if we could add a moment of prayer, silent prayer, before you end things.
Yeah, we can do that right now, and then we'll end. So if you can just join me with a moment of silence. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming out. All right?
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Yes, we have, yep, we just dropped it on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll send it out to media as well.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Chief.